Two of the most feared special forces units on the planet, one British, one American. Both built on decades of blood, sacrifice, and operations that most of the world will never hear about. When the SAS and Navy SEALs train together, you'd expect mutual respect. Elite soldiers, same side, same enemy. And yes, that respect is real, but underneath it, there is friction, real friction. The kind that doesn't show up in press releases or official joint statements. The kind that comes out in the field, in the cold, in the dark, when the gloves come off. So why does the SAS dread training alongside the very unit they share a battlefield with? And what does that tell us about how differently two elite forces can see the same mission? This is not just about which unit is better. This is about what happens when two completely different philosophies of war are forced to share the same mud. Two units built to win, built in completely different ways, and absolutely certain that their way is the right one. The two different worlds they come from. The SAS was founded in 1941 by David Stirling, a British Army officer built from the ground up to operate in small teams, deep behind enemy lines with no backup and no guarantee of return. Individual resilience was the entire point. The Navy SEALs came from a different tradition, maritime, team first, built around the idea that the unit is the weapon, not just the man inside it. BUDS, their selection, runs for 6 months, and around 70 to 80% of candidates don't make it through. That is a brutal number. Nobody questions the difficulty, but SAS selection sits at roughly 10% pass rate, sometimes lower. In the 1990s, it dropped as low as 3 to 4%. There were years in the late 1960s where nobody passed at all. Two different processes, two completely different philosophies baked into every step of them. And when those two philosophies share a training ground, things get uncomfortable fast. The SAS builds individuals who can survive alone. The SEALs build a unit that cannot be broken as a whole. Both philosophies work. Both have been proven in combat. But put them in the same training exercise and watch what happens. If that difference already has you locked in, subscribe right now, because we're just getting to the part where things actually boil over. The hill that breaks people. SAS selection runs through the Brecon Beacons in Wales, twice a year, summer or winter. It doesn't matter. The weather does not care, and neither do the instructors. Candidates carry Bergens, heavy packs, over steep hills, navigating alone with a compass and a paper map. No GPS, no updates, no encouragement. The marches get longer each day. The culminating event, called the Long Drag, covers 64 kilometers and must be completed in under 20 hours, carrying more than 55 pounds plus rifle. There are no checkpoints offering water. Nobody asks how you're doing. If you fall behind the cutoff, you are returned to your unit. No debrief, no second conversation, you're just gone. Navy SEALs go through their own version of this kind of suffering. Hell Week is 5.5 days of continuous training with 4 hours of sleep total. Students run over 200 miles, spend hours in freezing Pacific surf, carry boats on their heads. It is relentless. The difference is not in the pain. It's in the structure around the pain. SEAL training is built around the team. You suffer together. Instructors are watching for how you hold up within the group, how you lead under pressure, whether you bring your teammates up or drag them down. There is a system. There is feedback. You know roughly where you stand. In SAS selection, none of that exists. You have no idea if you're passing. No one tells you. Success looks identical to failure until you're either handed the sand-colored beret or put on a bus home. When SEALs and SAS train together, that difference becomes impossible to ignore. SEALs want structure. SAS wants none. When the philosophy clash gets physical, joint training between the two units is not a handshake exercise. It is a real stress test, and the cracks appear fast. Navigation challenges with no GPS, no radio contact, no checkpoints. SEALs used to real-time satellite imagery and team communication find themselves operating blind. Some teams struggle badly, not because they lack skill, because the entire system they were trained in suddenly doesn't exist. The SAS approach to this is simple. Getting lost is not failure. Stopping is. In SAS culture, you keep moving when nothing makes sense. That is the whole point of the exercise. You're being trained for the moment when every system you rely on has collapsed. For SEALs, that is a foreign concept. Their strength is coordination, precision, the unit working as one. Strip away the communications and the satellite support, and you're not testing a SEAL's weakness. You're testing a completely different skill set that their selection was never designed to prioritize. Then there's the survival philosophy. The SAS eats what it finds, snares, whatever the terrain offers. They treat comfort as a liability because in the field, comfort can vanish in seconds. Every hot meal you depend on is a dependency you can't afford. That mindset is engineered into selection from day one. If you need things to go right to survive, you are the wrong person for the job. SEALs, trained to view logistics as a force multiplier, keep their rations organized and their gear maintained. Both approaches are defensible, but side by side they look like an argument about who is actually prepared for the worst. Neither side is wrong. That is what makes it so uncomfortable. The room-clearing debate that never ends. One of the sharpest tensions surfaces in close-quarters combat training, and it brings out the loudest arguments between the two units. SEALs plan methodically, every angle mapped, every contingency rehearsed. When the breach happens, it happens because every operator knows exactly what the person beside them is going to do. The clearance is controlled violence executed with precision. The SAS approach is faster and far less structured. Brief prep, aggressive entry, speed through the objective. The argument is that real-world targets don't wait for perfect timelines. Hesitation costs more than imperfect information. In joint debrief sessions, both sides push back hard on each other. The SAS questions why you need 2 hours to plan what should take 30 minutes. The SEALs question whether unchecked aggression creates friendly fire risks and missed threats in rooms that haven't been fully read. Both arguments are valid. Both units have earned the right to make them. And that is exactly what makes the argument so loud and so unresolved. What actually holds it together? For all the friction, there is one thing that consistently cuts through it. In Iraq and Afghanistan, these two units shared real ground under real fire. SEALs have covered SAS teams when the situation collapsed. SAS operators have moved into positions to create space for American forces taking casualties. Operations ran where each unit did what it does best, without waiting for the other to adapt to their philosophy. Veterans from both units talk about this, not in terms of who won the training argument, in terms of trust built under conditions that made the training arguments completely irrelevant. The SAS and SEALs have also conducted joint counterterrorism training extensively, running hostage rescue and direct action drills together, building interoperability over years of shared work. In May 2012, SEAL Team 6 and SAS operators combined for Operation Jubilee in Afghanistan's Badakhshan province, rescuing 4 aid workers, 1 British, 1 Kenyan, 2 Afghan, from a Taliban stronghold. All 4 hostages came home alive. The partnership runs deep, deeper than the friction. But the friction exists because both units believe their way is the one that brings everyone home. That belief is not arrogance. It is what selection was designed to create in both of them. The SAS doesn't hate the Navy SEALs. That's not what this is. What they clash over is something far more interesting. It's the question of what it actually means to be ready for the worst. Is it a trained team that functions as a single unit under pressure? Or is it an individual who can keep going when every system around them has failed? The SAS says strip everything away and see what's left. The SEALs say build something that doesn't break in the first place. Both have been proven right. Both have paid for it with their lives. That is why the training is hard, why the debates are real, and why these two units keep showing up to train together despite all of it. Because the disagreement makes both of them sharper. And in special operations, sharp is the only thing standing between the mission and the alternative. If this episode is different, hit subscribe and drop a like. Every single one of those tells us to keep going deeper into the stories that don't make the headlines. I'll see you in the next one.